my 2024 top 10 camp knives. Stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Three River Blades. So if you hear it in my voice, I apologize. I am recovering from the flu. I know it's going around, so thank you for bearing with me. What I had done here is I pulled a lot of my blades that I've used over the years. Some are replacements because, again, I used them and I left a lot of them in my upstate retreat. So I have replacement blades that I purchased, so I have a set here and I could talk about it and of course use them as well. Now that being said, this is just all my opinion. All the knives that you see here I did purchase on Amazon.com. I am an Amazon affiliate, so if you won't purchase from the links down below, I will get like 2 cents on a dollar, so I appreciate that. Another way to support this channel is you can just go to threeriverblades.com and order a knife. If you do have a knife in progress, don't worry about it. I am going to get to it. I'm just trying to get over this cold, and then I'm going to jump right back in there and we're going to knock it out, and you're going to love a beautiful handcrafted knife made in the USA. Another thing you can do is go to Patreon, become a Patreon member. It only costs you $1 a month, and you get to watch videos like this before anybody else. All right, enough of that stuff. What we're going to talk about is camp knives. Camp knives are knives that you typically use at a camp base, or you are out in the woods, or some type of fixed knife where if you needed to make some kindling with a knife, you can do that, but then you could also use it to cut up a steak, cut up an onion, cut up an orange. You could use it to strip game if you needed to, that kind of thing, skin some game, set up some traps. So it is typically a belt knife, but a lot of people call it a camp knife. Now, in my estimation, I think that camp knives specifically have either a saber or a flat grind. It's a more general type of grind, and we'll talk about that when we get through it. And the knives can be carbon, can be stainless, doesn't really matter. It's user's preference. But anywhere from a 4-inch blade to about a 6 or 7-inch blade is where I would stay for a camp or belt knife. I'm not trying to walk around with a machete or an axe, but something that's wieldy. So I'm 6'3", about 230 pounds, so a 7-inch blade for me is nothing. But for my wife, who's smaller in stature, that's probably too big. We'll go with something smaller, like a Mora or something that she can handle. Again, a Mora knife is not something that you would use on wood or kindling, but it does do the camp chores. To each his own on that one. All right, so I'm going to let you decide. But these are just some of the ones that I agree in 2024 when I was out in the woods. They worked very well for me. And if you want to purchase them, I'll put the links down below. So let's drop this camera and get into it. All right, guys, so first things first. This is the Wilderness Bowie. It is no longer available. This is my knife. If you go to Three River Blades, I now make the MSK Mountain Survival Knife. It's a little bit different, but very comparable to this type of style knife. It is 3/16 inch thick. It does have a 5-inch handle, and this is over 6-inch blade. It does come with either a flat grind, or it comes with a saber grind, which is ideal for any type of camp chores and or tasks. It will come with a micarta handle. I put the lanyard on myself. And the leather sheath itself was not made by me. It was made by a friend of mine who did me the solid. Again, really, really nice leather work. This will come with a Kydex sheath, but I just wanted to show you what's available on my website. So the next blade is the Mark I Scout. You probably saw this in a couple of videos. I do take this to the woods quite a bit. This one's in stainless steel. I also have them in carbon. And this is traditionally what I would call either bushcraft knife, a camp knife, or a belt knife. It does have a nice 5-inch handle and a 5-inch blade. All right, so 10 inches overall. Again, this one's in stainless. I do have them in carbon, and it does have a very round and robust handle. And what that allows me to do is a lot of tasks and a lot of chores without tiring out my hand. It will come with a Kydex sheath. just like that, and it does have a tech lock on it. Again, if you wanted something other than a tech lock, I do have options up there. You can go to Three River Blades and check that out. All right, so enough of the shameless plugs. If you want those two blades or something like it, please go to threeriverblades.com. Now, the next blade should not come to any surprise to anybody. I know that you're going to call me a FUD, and that's okay. I am a FUD. The K-Bar USMC. Now, again, this was designed for the Marine Corps for a fighting knife back in the day. It's brand new because when I was in the woods doing land navigation, some tree branch in North Carolina decided to take this and pull this out of my sheath. Now, I have replaced it ever since, but this is a fantastic camp knife. It's not overall too heavy. It is a rat tang, so the rat tang means that it's a very, very thin piece of steel in there, so I wouldn't go pounding on it too much, but it will do regular camp chores. And again, you could always take the bad guy out with it now, depending on where you camp. But again, I've known lots of folks that use the K-Bar knife as a field or utility knife. There's nothing wrong with it. It's very stylish. It looks good. The leather stacked handle will last you forever. The only thing I would probably replace is the sheath itself, because once leather gets wet, it gets very, very loose in the sheath, and all it needs is that button to snap open. And again, a tree branch from North Carolina will take that knife and leave it on the ground for another Marine to find. So if you are the Marine that are watching this and you found a K-Bar in North Carolina training area, please let me know. I'd like my K-Bar back. All right. The next one, super, super simple. If you don't want to watch any more of this video, this is probably going to be the best option for you. This is Cold Steel's. This is now an SK1 and SRK. This SRK, 5-inch handle, I think almost a 6-inch blade. They typically call it a survival knife, SRK, meaning I think survival rescue knife or something like that. I'll annotate it. But you really don't need anything else other than this. It is a grippy rubber handle, which is nice, so your hands will not get wet and they will not slip. It is a very simple design. It is made of the SK5, which means that it is a carbon steel and it is coated, so it'll stay sharper longer. This is a great blade. I have one on my plate carrier, and I purchased this one just so I would have an extra one. Like I said, I have no problem using this as a combat utility knife, a belt knife, a survival knife. It's just a great knife. If nothing else, go and buy one right now, and you don't have to watch the rest of the video. The Securex sheath is okay. It is a polymer injected, polymer molded type of deal. And the only thing I don't like is this right here. I understand you need to have some type of loop retention on there to hang it from a belt. So sort of in that configuration, that's cool. But it's very, very floppy. I'm not a big fan of that, especially with any type of camp knife, but it will work. SRK, you're really not going to go wrong with this blade. I mean, you're really going to be comfortable with it. It works in almost everybody's hands, and it's a great buy. Next one we're going to talk about is the Laser Strike by ESEE. Now, I'm a huge fan of ESEE. I've been a huge fan for a long time. You can take these off if you want. These scales come off, and there's like a little bit of matches or ferrocerium rod that you can put inside, that kind of thing. But again, if you notice, it's a 5-inch handle, 5-inch blade, so you'll start to notice what I consider a camp and or belt knife. It works very well. Again, I didn't do too much work on this knife yet. I've been carrying it around, and I'm probably going to take it hunting and camping with me this year. But again, it's a nice knife. They come in 2 different colors now. I think you can get it in the sand color. This happens to be in the black. The sheath is outstanding. It is made in Kydex, and you have different attachments that you could put on here. Now, this one just happens to have the clip, which is nice. So let's say you're walking around the camp all day, you clip this on, and then you want to go to sleep at night, but you don't want to take your pant loop out to take your knife off. You just unclip this here, take your knife off, put it in your pack, and you're good to go. It also comes with this little washer. That washer right there is to take or is to be used as a screwdriver in case you want to take the scales out. It was mostly designed as a sear or rescue knife, something that you can use if you are a soldier or somebody that is doing, survival. So it's a cool knife. You don't have to necessarily use it for that, but I think it's a great option for a camp knife. It's lightweight, and again, with this clip, it just makes everything so much simpler. Now, I don't think anybody's going to debate as far as ESEE goes. All right, the SE6 is probably the most prominent survival or most sold survival knife probably in this country. It is a 6-inch blade. It's a little bit thinner, so it's not exactly 3/16, probably 5/32. The handles, this is an older one. The handles now have a round contoured handle, which is beautiful because these are always a little bit blocky. Some people like it, some people don't. Carbon steel, SE6, I mean, you really can't go wrong with that blade. Also, you can add different attachments. Like this is set up for a survival knife. Again, you don't have to have all this. This is a hard sheath that came with it. You could also take this off and put it on this knife. It actually fits. This was set up with a little bit of moly. These are all a little bit extra attachments. Again, this attachment right here is so if you wanted to put some type of survival kit in there, some fire, tinder, that kind of thing. And I think I have some stuff in there, not sure, but I set this knife up as a survival knife, but I think you would do very, very well as a regular camp or belt knife. Again, I would take a lot of this stuff off if I just wanted to use it for those tasks, but ESEE products are awesome. All right, now let's talk about some of my faves. Now, this might seem a little bit out of the realm, but again, this Tops knife, Steel Eagle. All right, now again, mostly a combat knife or a survival knife. This is the Steel Eagle 107C or 107 Charlie. It does have a saw back. It is a 1/4 of an inch thick steel, and it has a saber grind of 1095. It is traction coated. So again, you'll see that it's just amazing. This is a beast. It's a workhorse. I've used it to set traps. I've used it to notch things. I've used it to cut all kinds of stuff. And you can see there's a little bit of rust on there because I have been using it. And that's the thing about 1095. It will rust if you don't take care of it. It is heavier. It is heavier than all the other knives that you see here, specifically because of the 1/4 inch. I have many versions of this knife. Now, what I did is I got one of these. These are Spec Ops sheets. I think the Spec Ops sheets are a lot better than the sheets that come with Tops. And I just have a Falkneven DC4 sharpening stone in there for now. But what I like about this is this can be my go-to camp knife, combat knife, hunting knife, survival knife. This kind of does everything that I needed to do. And the sheet also comes with a little bit more paracord. These are readily available. I see them online all the time. There's different shapes and sizes. You can get one in a Tanto version. Now they have the smaller ones. There's ones without the sawback on it. So the Steel Eagle is my everyday go around. If I'm in the woods, I'm probably going to be carrying this if I'm not carrying one of my own. Now this might seem a little bit different or a little bit why kind of thing, but I love the Prather War Bowie. Now, the Prather War Bowie was designed as a fighting / woods knife. I know it's crazy, but it works extremely well, mostly because it's a 1/4 of an inch thick. It does have this triangle handle, which, believe it or not, is very comfortable. It has a large, flat blade. All right, you can see how tall the edge is, and it's super sharp. All right, Tops always makes great stuff out of the box. Fantastic blade. Again, the handle is a little bit small, but because it is triangle shaped, it fits my hand very well. It does have this little notch over here, so your hand does not fly forward. Really a big fan of this. I can't wait to use it more. The only thing I don't like, again, is the top sheets. And I think everybody has already said that. It is kind of the bane of Tops' existence. Now, I know Tops has done very well with the Kydex. This is an older version. If you get the newer version, it's probably going to come in the Kydex. All right, now if you want a workhorse, there's nothing wrong with Becker BK2. There's nothing wrong with Becker BK2. Becker BK2 is a beast. This thing's 1/4 of an inch thick. I've seen people put these through car doors. They use them as pry bars. It is coated, and it does have the plastic handle when you purchase it. But it's a little beast. And if you only need to buy one knife that will last you the rest of your life, this is probably going to be the one, all right, at an affordable price. It's a beast. It feels good in the hand. It fills out. If you can see the contours on the handle, it fills out your hand very, very well. But again, depending on who you are, it might be too heavy for you. Now, it does come with this injected molded plastic, which kind of is a pain in the ass to get out, but once it's in there, it's not coming out. And again, as usual, as per spec, it does have this flimsy nylon type of belt loop, and again, that just doesn't allow it for a lot of security. I think if anything, I would change that, but that's the only thing that would break on this knife. You would probably lose the knife with this ripped, with everything still intact because of the way this thing is built. But this thing is these 3 rivets right here is probably the only thing that would break. So if you have one of these, put the comments down below. I'm sure they're fantastic. Now, last and not least, sticking with the Becker line, this is a brand new purchase for 2024, 2025. I can't wait to get out and use this. This is the Becker BK7. I did change the handle out. As you can see, these are G10 handles, and these are micarta handles, and it does have a little bit of color in there, and holy crap, do these things feel amazing. Super comfortable. Again, carbon or Crovan, I believe steel, and it is traction coated or powder coated to stop with the rust. It is more of a Bowie design, but I think I like that because it's thinner, it allows me to do a couple of different things. Also, with the sheath, it's not bad. It is a little bit tall, but I think I would be able to get comfortable with it. It does have this really long flap for the secondary pocket, and all I did was just throw in a sharpening stone. I like to have sharpening stones with my knives. I wish a lot more companies would do that from the get. You know, like, listen, you're selling me a knife, you're selling me the package, just throw a sharpening stone in there. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. This is a Smith's sharpening stone, 2-sided, small little block. I think I paid maybe $12 for it. I mean, just something to think about, Becker. Just something to think about, K-Bar or Mr. Becker. Just throw something in there, make me a little bit happier. But again, very lightweight. You can go to the BK9, but again, I'm talking about camp knives, not survival knives or not large chopping knives. So for me, this is probably one of the go-to. I'm definitely going to take all of these that you see this year to upstate in the hunting cabin, and I'm going to try these out. So let's go up top and finish up. All right, guys, I hope you appreciated that video. So I will continue on with the series. Put it down in a comment below. I'm trying to do the top 10 of 2024. I know it's February, so I'm already a little late. It has to do with my sickness. What I need you guys to do is to like, subscribe, share. If you want to be a Patreon member, go ahead. It only costs you $1 a month. You get to watch videos like this before anybody else. It really helps me out. Helps my family out. Any other comments about the knives that you carry for your camp chores or your camp knives, please let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate that. And go to threeriverblades.com. Check out all the stuff that I have up there. Something might strike your fancy. Everybody that put an order in, your orders are coming as fast as I can get them out. Thank you very much, guys, and as always, keep grinding.